right, let's go, Daddy-o.
All right, welcome to episode 2 of Lore You Can't Explore, a podcast where we try to figure out unexplained movie lore.
My name is Corbin.
My name is Josh. All right, Corbin, what are we talking about in today's episode?
Well, we're talking about all the cars. Last time we talked about 2 of the cars, this time 3 of the cars. Movies, mind you.
Yes, we're back on Cars, the topic. This time because we've watched Cars 3, finally, and it's opened our eyes to the greater world.
Honestly, though, Cars 3 is a much better movie than Cars 2. It's actually, I was engaged in the plot a little bit. Not a lot, more than Cars 2, though.
Yeah, I'm on board with you there. It's actually a really good movie.
Honestly. I need to rewatch Cars 1, though, to, compare it to the trilogy. But Cars 3, solid 6 out of 10.
As a trilogy, whoa, wait, 6 out of 10?
Well,
I put that at like an 8.
8? I don't know if it's that good. Whatever.
All right, we'll accept each other's differences.
Yeah.
Anyway, we're still talking about cars.
Yes.
Because there's so much about the world that's still driving me insane.
Well,
Figured
all right.
we could get a little bit more mileage out of the Cars lore.
No, this is terrible. I'm vetoing. No more car puns. No more. Veto. Let's get into the summary.
Maybe a few more car puns?
Maybe. We'll see.
All right. Now that we've done that, let's get into the background information. Cars 3 was again directed by John Lasseter. So I'm a big dum-dum. That was wrong. It was actually directed by Brian Fee. And premiered, I have no idea when this premiered. I'm going to Google this.
It's in 2017. It premiered in 2017. I know that.
Okay.
I looked up the IMDb.
Okay. Do you want to give us another summary of Cars 3, Corbin?
All right, Cars 3. This time, Lightning McQueen is old bones. He sucks now because these new fancy cars are like, I'm faster than you, yo. And then he gets beat and he's like, oh, I lost once. And then he goes, and then this rich person buys his brand, his number. I don't know how racing works. And then he's going to get trained super hard. But then he learns that he needs to let go of the past, let it die, and
kill it if you have to.
And train a new car to be a really fast racer car and stuff like that. I think that's pretty much the movie.
Okay, that was an okay summary.
Yeah, I'll take it.
All right, with that out of the way, let's jump right into the lore of the Cars universe and what Cars 3 has made us think about. So I want to start by bringing in car reproduction. I know we talked about this in the last episode, but in the early scene in Cars 3, we see some car children that made me think about cars and their reproductive capabilities a little bit more.
As I mentioned in the previous podcast, the Robots movie, how they just order a kid and then they build the baby. And I'm pretty sure as the robot got older, they just gave him different parts, to he got hand-me-downs from his cousins and stuff, I guess. And then he became a bigger robot, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I don't know if the cars can really age the same way they do in the Robots movie, because their engines would have to be replaced into something bigger, otherwise you're going to have this tiny little engine your whole life.
Maybe that's how it works, though. Maybe they just do get newer engines and when they get bigger chassis, Yeah.
So they keep the same CPU, but everything else can be replaced.
Yeah.
But once the CPU goes bad and once that stops working, you're dead.
Or maybe the CPU is organic, right? And where that car thing is, that CPU is organic and it grows, right? So then they need a bigger chassis. So they get replacement parts when their brain gets too big. So that's how they grow,
Huh.
Going back to car reproduction, right?
Yes.
There are parents and we do see a child car. So do cars get horny? Right?
That was a horn pun, was it not?
Yes. Ah, crap, I got conned into it.
You got caught in your own trap.
No!
You become the very thing you swore to destroy.
Well, beans. Regardless.
So, yeah, I think cars can have sexuality in some way, because in Cars 1, there are two groupies or fangirls that flash Lightning McQueen, and he likes it, I think.
Yeah, I think he's into it.
And Sally, also in Cars 1, has a butt tattoo that Lightning McQueen sees, and she's kind of embarrassed by. So they have sexual areas on the body of a car.
Cars 1 is the horniest car movie.
Oh, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Why is there car sexiness if they don't reproduce, though? Or if there's no reason for them to be sexually attracted?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. Unless my brain theory is correct.
And what determines that some cars are women and some cars are men?
The men and women part, has to be completely arbitrary, right? I think the only thing other than our like social norms of male and female cars, like, you know, whatever, the only thing that distinguishes the two is eyelashes.
Yeah, well, and model, like shape and color, because the women seem to be more like pastel colors, or like there's like a nice purple on Holly, and there's a nice blue on Sally, and kind of a teal on Flo.
I'm trying to think if there's...
So there are like feminine colors, or what would be stereotypically considered feminine colors?
I don't... Because we did decide there were humans before, but...
Yeah, and I want to get back into that, but in a minute. We'll come back to that.
All right. I think we can say sexuality comes from the artifact of the humans that predated these cars. I think that's what we can decide on.
Okay, so it serves no actual function or purpose now?
I don't think so. Other than, like, raising a child with a male and female, but that shouldn't be necessary either. I don't know.
Yeah. I want to go back to car aging.
All right.
The character in the movie, Cruz Ramirez, she says, "Oh, you're going down, McQueen. Get that arthritis-riddled keister to the track so I can put you into the old folks' home against your will." Let's unpack that entire quote right now.
Okay. So there is car arthritis, and there are old folks' homes for cars, right? So that we can assume cars' joints age, or like their bits. And so I can assume car arthritis is just like, you know, a racer, they're using their car bits a lot, right? So
But we can't just get them replaced?
Yeah, that is true, because we don't know how modular cars are. Maybe, like...
Is there a limit to how many times you can get something replaced?
Or maybe, like, some models are incompatible. Like your model is so old, there's no new parts being made for your model. So
but why isn't there? You'd have an infinite market.
True, but I think the market would stagnate, though, wouldn't? Because there's, like, the same... Like, once you hit a certain point, and there's the same number of cars.
So since there are old folks' homes, that means you probably had a career, and once you become too old, you can't have that career anymore, right?
Or not necessarily. Maybe you just don't want to do it. Like, some people retire just because they want to retire, you know? It's not because they can't. It's just because I've lived a life, you know? I just want to chill out.
Yeah. But there were car careers?
There were car careers, I guess, but people could retire, you know?
I know we talked about this a little bit last episode, but, like, what do most cars do for jobs even? Like, especially those RVs.
Yeah, the RVs. Now, the RVs are kind of wild, honestly. Like, I don't know what their job is. Like, what do they do? Are they just a bigger car? Are they just born like that? Do they... Because semis have jobs and they haul things, right? And like they have
also, isn't that... Let's talk about that, okay?
Yeah?
A car goes in another car. You know how weird that is? That's like you traveling inside another living human.
No. It's like in like European countries, there's a guy on a bike pulling a cart behind him that carries people, you know? That's just what it's like.
He's pulling you. It's the same. That's like if you get towed. Yes. But you're not inside of the person.
Well, Mac is McQueen's semi-traveler guy. He can detach from his trailer. His trailer isn't a part of him. It's a separate entity.
What about with like a plane or a train?
Okay, now that's a bit different.
You're inside a living, possibly breathing thing?
That's weird. That's just weird. We can assume, if we're going with the brain theory, we can assume that The brain is stored in the cockpit area, right there. That's the central like unit, and then it can control the rest of them. And there's just an inside to his body, like that cars can go in. Or with the train, it's like there's the brains in the front, but it controls everything else. So I don't feel like that's too weird, considering that. I mean, like, if we compare cars to humans 1-to-1, it's going to be a bit weird, but this is like the Cars world, so we take some liberties where it might not be as weird. It's all about perspective.
But I now want to come back to the bug theory.
Ooh,
The central theory that you developed during the last episode.
All right. The bug theory, right? Where the bugs are the nanobots that that build things, right? I feel like there are some holes to be poked in that. I know how solid it was last episode.
At the end of the episode, we brought up tractors. And because we said the bug theory worked because there's no other non-human like things.
Yes.
Like there weren't any animals. But there are tractors, which are either cows or farmers, and I'm not sure which.
I'm pretty sure they're cows because they don't talk. They're kind of dumb. They can be like Mater goes on tractor tipping or whatever, and he tips a cow, right? Or tips the tractor, which is supposed to be a cow. I think the combines are the bulls. Like there's combines in Cars 1 that chases after McQueen and Mater when they're having their hijinks, quote unquote. So I don't know if there has to be car farmers, but we just never.
Well, the wiki. Okay,
Yeah.
I went to the wiki for this episode.
Oh, doing some more research.
On tractors, and it says they're very hardworking, and after they get their work done, they like to lazily sleep in the fields or something. And I'm like, that implies they're like farmers. They're like tending to the fields or something.
That's wild. Why
But they're like semi-conscious, maybe?
are they just like are they working with the bugs? All right.
No, I don't think okay, I think we should scrap the bug theory because
No. I have an idea. All right. So, the bugs, right? They're like the nanobots, right? And then the mini forklifts, right? That you never see in the real world, but they're everywhere in cars. They do the maintenance jobs. They do they're all the pit crews. They're bands because they have arms, kinda. They have the forklift arms that can work like hands and stuff, and they hold like stuff. So I think the little forklift guys are the controllers. They're the architects. They're the builders. They are the ones that do everything and make society run. They use the bugs because those little forklift arms, while being useful in a car's universe, they're not like infinite. They can't do everything a human hand can. So they use the bugs to build these grand structures whilst they are still able to control things with their little stubby arm bits, right?
Okay.
So, and then I think the forklifts would be the farmers too, or maybe a truck would be a farmer, whatever. But I think the bugs can be separate because they're the smallest car object we see, because in Cars 3 there are crabs mentioned, but we never see them. Because
yeah, they could be car crabs or they could be like our crabs, and we don't know.
I'd like to assume they're car crabs, but they never show them because they were too cowardly to design a car crab. But because Cruz, McQueen's trainer, when they're driving on the beach, and hijinks ensue, blah blah blah, and Cruz is trying to keep up with McQueen, right? She falls behind once because I almost hit a crab, and I assume it's a car crab, because if it's not, that's horrifying.
Okay, I'm gonna hope that they're car crabs, but we never do see them. But I'm with you on that. I'm gonna just say it's because they couldn't design a good-looking crab that was a car.
Yes, I assume, and they just mention crabs, and then they leave it at that. They never show one, so I think we can safely assume there are car crabs.
So you want to stick with the bug theory?
All right, I think we could. All right, I can see it. I think we can replace the bug theory with the forklift theory, right?
You think the forklifts are like some sort of mastermind that's keeping all the other cars down by not designing them well enough?
I mean, it has to be, right? Because they do everything. They hold car society on their shoulders.
Well, I don't think that's intentional. that they're the ones kind of, I don't think they're at the top though in terms of the food chain. They're billionaire cars that don't really do that much.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like the forklifts don't have any power or say. They're usually like the cleaners, maybe the musicians, because they are the closest we get to humans. I think that's just the byproduct of humans leaving and the cars trying to fill in with whatever they could get, and that's forklifts.
But all right, they might not have power, but they do everything. They have to, right? Actually, I think the car forklifts are the creative force behind the Cars universe.
You think they're the only ones with creative capacities?
Or not necessarily capacity, but with they're the only ones with the ability to act on said creative ideas, or like independently, because I think we've seen that cars like hold stuff kind of. Like the camera operators, I noticed they're attached to their tires kind of with like clamps.
Yeah, everything attaches to the tire normally, like for the mouse in Cars 2 where they operate the computer mouse.
Yeah.
You think there'd be things that can be creative outlets for non-forklifts?
Yes, but I think the forklifts have they're the easiest path to creative expression, So I think a lot of forklifts are often like artists or like mechanics or the like, stuff like that.
Are we saying that the forklifts are in this position because there were once humans and there no longer are?
I think, yeah.
So I want to lay out the case for why I think there were humans in the world, even though we already agreed that there probably were at one point.
Shoot.
So in Cars 3 especially, we see a lot of stuff that's made just for humans. Like at the Derby, we see a school bus named Miss Fritter that is made for human children to ride inside of. We see an ambulance made for carrying humans. We see in the first Cars, a car and his wife seemed to be going on some sort of road trip, and a mattress was strapped to the top. I'm not sure why it was still carrying a mattress, actually.
Huh.
If we replace all cars in the movies with humans, what would change?
Nothing really.
Nothing.
Other than like there'll be some visual gags that won't be as funny.
That's true. Maybe these are dreams of some person.
All right, no, that's a cop out. We can't just say it's a dream. That's easy. That's too easy. You can't say whenever it's it was just a dream. Nah.
How do you explain the humans though? Where did they go?
There's some toxic gas in the air, right? That affects humans but doesn't affect cars or plant life for that matter. But they were all wiped out. I don't know.
Then how do you explain the mattress and the spray bottles made for human hands and the human guitars and the human drums?
Forklifts use the stuff.
Okay.
So I think these things are just designed the way they are because maybe like the humans left over factories when they disappeared that already produced this kind of stuff and just cars kind of adapted to it, because there are some things like planes, especially in Cars 2, you see a lot of like adaptation for car life, but I think that there's a lot of leftover from the human world after they left.
So we're going to say that humans died of some disease or some toxic gas or something?
Yeah, and then they had to put themselves into cars to live, and then...
So the humans are gone through toxic gas. Why toxic gas? What happened? What caused this toxic gas?
Somebody... either a disease escaped from a laboratory, some world powers like let's freak them up with chemicals and whatnot. It could be like natural disasters too. Cars are more resilient than humans.
Maybe nuclear fallout that killed all the other animals. That's why we don't see animals and humans. And scientists desperately, last-ditch effort in some lab to save humanity, found the closest thing with a computer or something they could upload into near them, and that was a car.
Yeah.
Because we'll say cars were somehow more advanced at that point.
And then...
that you could be close to uploading yourself into it.
And then but that doesn't explain an organic brain to facilitate growing, Or maybe in the future they develop some sort of organic technology.
Do we see teenage cars?
No.
Just children and adults? So then maybe it's a one-time shift.
Yeah.
You become a totally different car and they implant your memories.
Honestly, I that's very valid. Like when like maybe there's some sort of rite of passage, for cars where they can get in their adult car body.
Yeah.
I
When
think
you reach a
that's
certain age or something.
I think yeah, we can ditch that organic brain. All right. So, summarizing our theories for this. Humans died, nuclear fallout, something blah. Scientists uploaded their consciousness into high-tech cars, right?
Yes.
And then everyone just had to whatever was lying around, somehow maybe there was this chip they could implant on any car. Maybe that's why there's Model Ts. There's whatever car was closest. Maybe some people are in a museum. They just kind of shoved this this chip into a car and it uploaded the consciousness, right? So
everybody had some sort of chip they were carrying because they knew nuclear fallout was in the near future, but they were still trying to live life like nothing was wrong.
Yes. So that explains why there's so many different types of cars and why there's lemons, right? As in cars too. So then that happened.
The tractors would become sentient then. So that means someone had to take away part of their sentience to force them to do one job all the time.
And then cars happened, and then I think they just build new cars. And maybe the parents will both send in copies of their consciousness or something to make a combined simulate how reproduction works. It's how combined genomes of two humans create a new human, right? Maybe it's a combined consciousness, so the combined ideas into a infant, right? Or an infant car, quote unquote. And then that's how new cars happen. And then I think all these other cars are just kind of relics, right? It's this is just how it used to be. And then maybe there was some sort of maybe an EMP went off or something and destroyed all the cars' memories. So then they just kind of woke up, and maybe the older cars, because there's less technology in them, kind of woke up.
Maybe they knew that implanting your consciousness would make you lose your memories.
Or something. And maybe the older cars woke up faster or something, because that's why there was only older cars for a while, and then these newer cars happened. And then I think
these scientists were in a museum.
The scientists were in a museum. So then that's why the older cars happen, and then obviously the cars break down over time, and maybe they couldn't find the parts, and then car history happened, right?
So there's abandoned. They made, is that with car bugs or no?
I have to ditch the car bugs. I think the main manual labor is from the forklifts and cranes and whatnot.
So through nuclear fallout, people uploaded their consciousness to machines and lost their memories from it. And somehow from there, then maybe uploaded to Model Ts.
Yeah, I don't know about that one, but I think we can settle. We've solved it all. End of podcast. Easy peasy. Done. No more cars.
No.
Ever.
I have one more question for you.
Oh.
Do cars have car insurance or life insurance?
Life insurance, because cars don't exist otherwise.
Neither. They just die. All right, talking about the Cars lore, it gets pretty exhausting. It's time we wrap the podcast up. Follow us on Twitter if you have any car questions or future episode suggestions. You can find us at The Lore Podcast.
And you can find us wherever podcasts are found. Mainly SoundCloud, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean. Yeah.
Thank you very much for listening, and a special thank you to Dynaco and Rusty's for making this podcast possible. Until next time, I'm Josh.
I'm Corbin.
This has been Lore You Can't Explore.
Bye.